Hello, fellow adventurers and travel enthusiasts. Welcome back to another exciting episode on our channel, Travelscapes 360. If you're new here, we're your passport to the world, bringing you the most fascinating travel stories, insights, and tips from every corner of the globe. Before we embark on today's journey, we have a small request. If you enjoy our content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to create more amazing travel content for you. Now fasten your seatbelts because today's journey is going to take us to some unexpected places. We're about to explore the surprising world of rudeness across different countries. Intrigued? Let's get started. Did you know that 87% of travelers report having experienced rudeness while on their travels? It's a surprising statistic, isn't it? Today, we're embarking on an intriguing expedition into the world of rudeness around the globe. Grounded in extensive research and travelers' experiences, we've curated a list of countries where visitors have perceived the locals as being, well, a bit rude. But before we set off on this journey, let's clarify something. Rudeness can be highly subjective. It's often a product of cultural differences and misunderstandings rather than intentional disrespect. What might seem rude to one person might be perfectly normal to another. So, as we traverse this path, remember to keep an open mind. The aim here isn't to stereotype or stigmatize, but to foster understanding and promote empathy. Now, let's dive into the countdown of the countries perceived as the rudest in the world. The 10th spot on our list goes to Germany. Now, before you raise an eyebrow, let's delve into why this might be the case. Germany, renowned for its precision and efficiency, can sometimes come across as rude to those unacquainted with their culture. A typical German conversation is direct and to the point, with little room for fluff. This straightforwardness, especially in a professional setting, can be misinterpreted as brusqueness by outsiders. Contrary to popular belief, it's not that Germans don't appreciate courtesy. Rather, they value sincerity and honesty over superficial politeness. They prefer to get straight to the matter at hand, without the usual pleasantries that many of us are accustomed to. This efficiency-driven approach can be a culture shock for some, leading to the perception of rudeness. So the next time you find yourself in Germany, don't mistake their directness for discourtesy. Remember, Germans value efficiency over small talk. China secures the 9th spot on our list. The vast country, home to a population of over 1 billion people, is known for its deep-rooted customs and traditions. However, some of these cultural norms may seem off-putting to the uninitiated. One such example is the common practice of spitting in public. While this may be seen as a sign of disrespect or rudeness in many parts of the world, in China, it's often viewed as a natural bodily function, no different than sneezing or coughing. Another aspect that may ruffle some feathers is the apparent lack of queuing etiquette. The concept of patiently waiting your turn isn't always observed in the same way as it is in Western societies. This habit of pushing in lines can come across as impolite to foreigners. So, while these behaviors might seem discourteous to some, it's vital to remember that what's considered rude is often subjective and varies from culture to culture. Cultural norms can often be a source of misunderstandings. France, known for its romantic charm, is surprisingly at number 8. When we think of France, we often imagine the beautiful architecture, the delicious cuisine, and the rich history. But beneath this allure, France has gained a reputation for rudeness. This is particularly true in Paris, where locals are often seen as snobbish and unapproachable. Why is this so? A lot of it comes down to cultural misunderstandings. The French value their language and are known for being protective of it. For tourists who don't speak French, this can come across as dismissive or even rude. It's also worth noting that French manners can be quite different from what we're used to. For instance, not saying bonjour before starting a conversation is considered impolite, which can easily lead to misconceptions. However, it's crucial not to generalize. Remember, not all French people are rude. It's just a stereotype. In 7th place, we find Russia. The land of the czars and vodka often gets a bad rap for being rude, but let's delve a little deeper. Russians are known for their blunt communication style. They often speak directly, without the frills and niceties that many Western cultures are accustomed to. This can come across as brusque or even rude to the uninitiated. But it's not just about being direct. In Russia, small talk is not as prevalent as in other parts of the world. Conversations are often deep and meaningful, and Russians generally prefer to say nothing rather than engage in idle chatter. This lack of small talk can make them seem standoffish or uncaring. However, it's important to remember that these perceived acts of rudeness are often just cultural differences. What may seem rude to one person may be perfectly normal to another. Like Germany, Russians value straightforwardness. Claiming the sixth spot is the United Kingdom. Now, it's important to note that rudeness is often a matter of perspective, and this is especially true when it comes to the Brits. A significant portion of their perceived rudeness can be attributed to their distinct brand of humor. British humor is renowned for its sarcasm, irony, and wit, but these can easily be misunderstood by those unfamiliar with it. The Brits are also known for their love of banter and playful teasing, which can come off as abrasive or even rude to the uninitiated. It's a cultural peculiarity that can make the British seem distant or unsociable, but it's generally all in good fun. Another factor is the British penchant for understatement, which can sometimes come across as indifference or even disdain. But remember, it's not personal, it's just the British way. The British sense of humor isn't always understood by everyone. Entering the top 5, we have the United States. A land of opportunity, diversity, and cultural melting pot, the United States is also seen by some as a land of rudeness. This perception might come as a surprise, but let's delve a little deeper to understand why. First, there's the American volume. Americans are often seen as being loud, their boisterousness sometimes perceived as arrogance or insensitivity. Then, there's the overly friendly aspect. Americans tend to be open and direct, which can be misunderstood as being intrusive or superficial. Another factor is the tipping culture. In the United States, tipping is customary and expected. It's seen as a way to show appreciation for service. However, visitors from countries where tipping is not customary may find this practice confusing and off-putting. Despite these perceptions, it's important to note that the United States is a vast and diverse country. Each state has its own unique set of manners and customs, and what may seem rude in one region may be perfectly acceptable in another. Remember, the US is a diverse country with different manners in each state. India, land of diversity, holds the 4th spot. This is a country where the rhythm of life is so intense and vibrant, it could easily be mistaken for rudeness. The perception of rudeness often stems from the lively, bustling nature of India. Imagine you're in a busy market, surrounded by a symphony of honking horns, the clamor of merchants, and the chatter of people. This is daily life in India, where personal space can feel like a luxury rather than a given. The noise levels, the close proximity of people, the rush and the push, all these elements can easily be interpreted as rude by those unfamiliar with the culture. But here's a thought to ponder. Maybe what we perceive as rudeness is simply a cultural misunderstanding. What if the perceived lack of personal space is just a testament to the country's population density or a sign of their communal living? India's bustling nature can sometimes be overwhelming. But remember, rudeness is often in the eye of the beholder. The United Arab Emirates makes it to the top 3. Now, this might come as a surprise to many, given the nation's reputation for luxury and hospitality. However, there are several factors that contribute to this perception of rudeness. One major factor is the pronounced wealth disparity. The UAE is home to some of the world's richest people, yet it also houses a large number of expatriate workers living in starkly different conditions. This gap can sometimes create an air of superiority, which might be perceived as rude by some. Then there's the issue of attitudes towards foreigners. Though the UAE is a melting pot of cultures, there are instances where foreigners, especially those from less affluent countries, may feel they are being treated with less respect or consideration. Cultural misunderstandings too play a part. What may seem rude to an outsider might simply be a part of the local etiquette in the UAE. Despite its modern image, the UAE still has some cultural challenges. South Korea, surprisingly, takes second place. This vibrant East Asian nation is known for its rich culture, cutting-edge technology, and a thriving pop scene. However, it also has a reputation for being perceived as rude by some. This perception stems mainly from a couple of factors. Firstly, South Korea has high expectations for conformity. The society is heavily influenced by Confucian values, which put a strong emphasis on respect for elders and adherence to social norms. This can sometimes come across as rigid and uninviting to outsiders. Secondly, the language barrier plays a significant role. While English is taught in schools, many Koreans are not comfortable speaking it, especially the older generation. This can lead to misunderstandings and come across as rudeness. However, it's crucial to remember that what may seem rude to one person may be perfectly normal to another. Cultural differences are a part of the global experience. South Korea's fast-paced culture can be a bit much for some, and the top spot for the rudest country goes to Saudi Arabia. Now, it's important to understand that rudeness is a matter of perspective. Saudi Arabia's reputation largely stems from its strict laws and customs, which can often be misunderstood as rudeness by those unfamiliar with the culture. The country operates under an interpretation of Islamic law that mandates certain behaviors and dress codes. This can be interpreted as harsh and unbending by outsiders, contributing to the perception of rudeness. Additionally, the traditional roles and expectations of women in Saudi society differ significantly from Western norms, which can further fuel this perception. However, it's crucial to remember that what may seem rude or harsh to one culture may be entirely normal and respectful in another. The key is to approach with an open mind and respect for local customs and traditions. Saudi Arabia's strict norms can be a culture shock for many. But remember, understanding and respect can bridge any cultural divide. And before we wrap up our journey, a quick but important reminder. As we traverse the globe, let's carry with us the understanding that rudeness is a relative term. It shifts with borders, changes with cultures, and varies with personal perspectives. It's essential that we approach each new place with an open mind, ready to embrace the unfamiliar and learn from it. We might be surprised to find our own customs considered rude in another part of the world. So, let's not be quick to judge, but instead, let's strive to understand, respect, and appreciate the diverse cultures and customs that make our world so beautifully complex. As we continue to explore with Travelscapes 360, let's remember to travel not just with our suitcases, but also with tolerance, curiosity, and respect. And as we close this chapter of our global journey, we'd like to thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep exploring with us, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Travelscapes 360. Your support helps us bring more of these fascinating journeys to you. Safe travels, everyone. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, the world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. See you in the next video. So there we have it, the top 10 countries perceived as the rudest. We've journeyed from the bustling streets of Germany to the ever-vibrant China, the chic avenues of France to the frosty landscapes of Russia. We've hopped across the pond to the United Kingdom, then jetted over to the United States before heading east to the colorful chaos of India, the desert oasis of the United Arab Emirates, the technological marvel that is South Korea, and finally, the traditional grandeur of Saudi Arabia. In each of these nations, it's important to remember that what may seem rude to us could simply be a cultural norm to them. It's a diverse world out there, filled with a multitude of customs and etiquettes. So let's approach our travels with empathy, respect, and a willingness to understand and appreciate these differences. Remember, travel with an open mind and heart. Rudeness is often just a misunderstanding.